Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of RiesKitchen. Today we're making an absolute classic, lasagna, perfect on a cold wintry day like today. There looks like a lot of ingredients in front of us, but don't be put off, it really is a very simple dish. So let's get into it, shall we? We have some ground beef, mushrooms, red wine, onion, tomato paste, crushed tomatoes, chilli, garlic, bay leaves, dried oregano, fresh spinach, then for the bechamel, butter, milk, plain flour, our lasagna sheets and grated cheese. Now the secret to a great lasagna is a nice rich sauce. So to start with, I've just got my pan heating here, just a dash of olive oil, and we're just going to gently saute our onions until they go translucent. So now we can throw in our beef, and we want to get this browned really well. So just breaking it up. So now that we've got that nice and broken up and brown, and it's starting to get nice brown bits on the bottom of the pan, I'm going to throw in my mushies and the chilli that I've cut up. Don't forget the seeds. Now I'm going to crush in my garlic. And we just give that a quick minute before we add our liquids in. Now we're starting to get that nice brown goodness on the bottom of the pan here. So there will be a bit of steam that we add in our tomato concentrate or tomato paste and our tinned tomatoes. And then our red wine to just make sure that you deglaze that pan, give it a good stir, get all those good brown bits up. Now we just sprinkle in our oregano and our bay leaves. You'll want a bit of salt and pepper in there as well. And taste it. If it's too acidic, add a teaspoon of white sugar. And now we're going to let that cook down for a good, at least 10-15 minutes. We want it rich and thick and luscious. So it's time to start our bechamel sauce. So what we need to do is just melt our butter. So now to throw in our flour and to form our roux. And we're letting our roux cook for 3 minutes. So now we need to add our milk, but gradually. So a small amount at this stage. We keep adding more milk as we go. It's time to get the whisk. And now we just cook this until it goes nice and thick, but we need to keep whisking all the time to stop it going lumpy. So as this starts to thicken now, it's just time to season with some salt and pepper. So now that that's nice and thick and come to the boil, I'm just going to turn the heat off. Now just giving this sauce a final stir, it's time to put our lasagna together. Now a lasagna dish is a baking dish that is not too high. We'll still get the height of our lasagna, but we don't want too deep. It gets too tricky to get them out then. So this one is perfect. I'm using today some shop-bought lasagna sheets. They don't need to be boiled or anything, they're ready to go straight away. Or of course you can make your own pasta. But the trick to getting your lasagna out after you've done is to make sure that you get some of the liquid out of your sauce and you put it in the bottom underneath that first layer. Otherwise the first layer sticks. It's also important at this time to take out our bay leaves because we don't want them in the finished product. So now it's time to layer up. So your first layer of pasta on top of that little bit of sauce on the bottom. So now a third of our meat sauce. Now for a layer of spinach leaves. So the trick to having your lasagna stay upright when you take it out of the pan to serve is to glue the next layer down. So we use a little bit of our bechamel, and I'm going to run it diagonally one way for this layer, and then when I do the next layer I'm going to run it the opposite direction, and it just helps stabilise the whole lasagna. It doesn't take a lot, just a spoonful or so. And now we just literally repeat with 2 more layers identical to that. So we should have about half of our bechamel sauce left in the pot, and we're going to pop that over the top of our pasta, making sure that the pasta is all covered, otherwise it goes dry and hard, and then we'll top with our cheese. So now with our cheese, it always looks like a lot, but you want tons. So now this dish goes into the oven at 180 degrees fan forced for 40 minutes. Now sometimes it bubbles over a little bit, so I always put a baking tray on the level below just to catch and help stop my oven getting too messy, really. Okay. And doesn't that just look awesome? Now we need to let that sit for 5 minutes or so it solidifies a little bit to make it easier to dish. Oh, I can't wait. Smell that. Now for all the details of today's recipe, don't forget to check out my blog in the link below. But as always, the best part's in the eating. Oh my gosh, that's good. It just takes me straight back to my childhood. Until next time, everybody. Ciao.